starting in 3, 2, 1, and welcome to a festive That Karate podcast. My name's Liam Gallagher.
I'm Sean McLaren.
I'm John Clark.
How we doing, boys? It's almost Christmas. How's life?
Absolutely fantastic, living the dream. Out working, breaking up sheds that get blown down by blown fences and stuff that get blown down by Storm Armand last week.
It's pretty
Nice.
wild, yeah. We have a gate missing.
I've got a whole side fence that just get turned into like logwood and firewood kindle. So I've been doing like my best Rocky impersonation out in the snow and the frost, trying to break up these big bits of wood. So yeah,
The Jake on and all that.
the Jake on the
I
big.
expect to see a montage next episode.
Joe standing there with a saw like this.
I just got to say, John, well done in getting some sort of a background together. Well done, John. Round of applause, guys.
It looks like those old movies with the spotlight in on you.
Or it's the start of James Bond.
It kind of reminds me of that last time I was in a police interview and they had to just look straight at me.
The last time you had a police interview? Whoa. We didn't know anything about this, viewers.
I knew we could have done background checks.
I worked the doors for 10 years. What do you expect?
I know. Anyway. Just congratulations, John. Well done. Liam, much happening with you?
Not a lot, mate. Not a lot.
Oh, Liam's getting the background. He's going to show off now.
Feeling festive, can't you tell?
Yeah,
For viewers that can't see,
We've been moving house this week. It's been horrific. As you know, Sean.
I have been
There
there,
you go.
experienced firsthand.
Sean assisted the move, and it was the kind of stupid you would expect from the two of us, to be quite frank.
We shouldn't be allowed out together.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't be allowed to meet up. We actually should. We should purely be virtual.
Both of us nearly died.
And not mainly me, when he concussed me in the back of the head with a giant cushion, and all I heard was a bong as my head smashed off the side of the actual van, and then my neighbours watching me chase him around in the ice. That was not good.
I could have must have been in the fridge. I could have been in the
About
fridge beside your head.
It was proper chilly, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 6 o'clock at night by the time we actually started putting some of the stuff away, and it was very icy down that path. So yes, it was fun. Thank you for the experience.
No, thank you. Thank you for the help.
Definitely repay that favour when I move house.
I will be. I will not be available.
I will wait until you are available.
They did say afterwards, I'm moving house next year, and I was like, shit.
I'm staying put.
You stay
I'm just
put.
waiting for the mortgage move. I'm just
You're
waiting
driving
for
a
the mortgage
van,
move.
dude. But the
Yeah.
Blues Brothers. That's heading up from deepest, darkest Ayrshire.
Yeah,
You're far deeper Ayrshire than I am. Anyway, before we get started, I hear that there's a wee bit of Oscar ceremony going on with you guys over the last couple of weeks.
no.
Aye, there is.
Oscar? Who the hell's Oscar?
Don't be shy, come on. East Ayrshire Sports Club of the Year, Glasgow Instructor of the Year, Glasgow Sports Club of the Year. Not bad going, guys.
He's going back to Camden. We're babysitters.
We're glorified.
Sean's Glasgow babysitter of the year. I didn't even know his face. He's mentioned. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was real chuffed for Sean. I was kind of your first kind of went. My baubles disappeared. Double done in the first year, mate.
Yeah, but to be honest, I was really surprised, with getting the
So
emails.
are we?
I was just surprised. I know they don't know.
Sure.
That's why I never put the nomination in, because we won. Somebody else put it in for us. No, obviously we're very grateful.
We've heard that before.
This just went downhill very fast. No, very grateful of those guys.
We've been drinking. It's been a long day.
And very grateful for the guys that voted for us as well. And obviously the final was there was judged final. It wasn't just a popularity contest. So
Which is just as well, let's be honest.
I know, because I wouldn't win.
Can I just ask, Sean, who were you most impressed by meeting? Was it Hermione Granger or was it Michelle McManus?
Remember the wife in the house.
I was more impressed with Michelle McManus. She was a great laugh. But Layla was just when Emma Watson came into the community centre that we were teaching. It was was a shock. But she was lovely. She spent time taking pictures with her and handing out books and stuff as well. So Layla got a selfie with her, and I think like the Facebook post has had like 4,500 likes or something, you know. And
Wow.
it's good for her because she'll remember that for the rest of her life, and she's a crazy Harry Potter fan, you know. So yeah, it was good. That Michelle McManus was a good laugh. Was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a nice night. The second one in the City Chambers was lovely as well. I've never been in legally. No, I'm joking. I actually
You're not working with you.
No, joking. No, it was nice. It was a nice setup and nice 3-course meal. And do you know what I said to Liam as well? It was nice to actually network and meet people and chat to people that aren't you guys. Do you know what I mean? So, because we've not had anything like that, and obviously that's the first time we've been at an event like that. So the Sports Council for Glasgow one, and then the Glasgow Times Community Champion one as well. It's nice, some nice stories as well, inspirational stories about people who are just raising money for good causes and doing some really nice things. There's a gentleman that's won the individual award for Men's Matter Scotland, and you know, he's done, when you go through what he's doing and what he does, there's some really good stuff, you know. And here's me just teaching cry. So
it was quite funny. You kind of said this. You said you'd seen the breakdown, and it was like this person had done this for charity, and this person had done that for charity, and a karate club.
Yeah, it was quite funny. So when they put up the finalists, it was a cycling, and they do a lot of charity, and then there's a trampoline club that do a lot as well. And then it was there, so their two description was very detailed, and the mine was just a popular karate club in Glasgow, and that was it. So, but we won. So,
That was awesome. Well done.
No, it was good. It was good, and it was good to, as I said, chatting to the Lord Provost and the kind of head editor of the Times and the head of the Glasgow City Council and head of Glasgow Housing Association. You know, it was just nice to kind of meet these people and network and meeting other people who were up for awards as well, and just kind of chat and socialise. It was lovely. And I took my daughter Layla along with us as well because she helps out in the classes. So we had a nice dinner in Levita and then off to the Chambers, which was quite funny because the last awards we went to, it was a kind of finger buffet with chicken wings and onion rings and chips, and I'm happy with that. I'm really, really happy with that. But I knew Layla's a very picky eater, so I was like, I'll pick her up for school. We'll go to Levita across the George Square, get a nice wee meal, and then we'll go in there. Not knowing that it's a full 3-course meal as well. So I've already had 2 courses in Levita, 2 coffees, 2 glasses of juice, and I'm rolling into the Chambers. And then I sit down and I look at the programme and it's a 3-course meal. Like, oh my God. They almost had to roll me up to get my awards. It was quite funny actually. But yeah, no, it was good. No, thank you. It was, as I said, completely surprised, as Liam said. I'm sure you as well. But it's nice award. And
despite me and my mates in the real world, I think you both deserve it. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Well, we didn't know.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's just pretty funny.
We had an Scooby. I didn't think we were in for anything, so the Easters were still doing it virtually, same as last year. Normally they meet up and do the kind of dinner thing as well, but it was virtually, so I didn't pay attention, to be honest, because I hadn't heard anything about it. And as one of my students came in on the Friday night and went, "Congratulations!" and I was like, "Thank you for what? For winning? Winning what? The award." Right, dude, you need to help me here. What are you talking about? I obviously don't know what you're talking about. You won Club of the Year, and I went, "No, that was last year." And they went, "No, it was last night." And I'm like, "No, dude, it was last year." No, it was last night. I'm like, "You've lost the plot, mate." And they went, "No, look." And I went, "Oh shit, we have." So I was gobsmacked. I couldn't believe it because
I sent you a message after it was announced.
Did you? I missed it. I didn't see it.
What?
I don't know. I honestly had no clue. It was one of my students' dads. Andy came in. That's the first. I must have missed you. Apparently, somebody else had tagged me as well. It was one of the teams that, when the clubs that had been a runner-up, had tagged us and said, "Well done," and I just...
Did they tag the page, though? Did they tag the Senjukai page?
They tagged the Senjukai page, so I didn't see it.
I get that sometimes. I don't get any notifications when you get
I tagged you both and the Senjukai page.
I saw nothing. Okay. I saw nothing. So that we got that. So this year we had the South Ayrshire Sports Award and Spirit of Sport Award and the East Ayrshire Club of the Year for the second time running. And what really, apart from being obviously we're gobsmacked, we're genuinely delighted to have won it. But and then with Sean, obviously up in the Glasgow way, winning as well, which really kind of cheered me up is the fact that we're starting to get taken more seriously as a sport.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
When we're starting to beat, like, not beat, I don't mean the word beat, but if we're starting to stand on our own next to like the kind of mainstream sports, and
Yeah.
we're starting to win these kind of major awards, which is it's for, and it's really cheesy, but it's all of us that are winning. It's all of us in karate that are winning when these things are happening, because it means we're getting taken seriously and we're seen as a viable club, as a viable sport, as a viable pastime. So
yeah.
that
No,
that
absolutely.
really made me happy more than winning the award, if that makes sense.
No, that's a good
Absolutely.
point. Rebecca. That's a really good point. Yeah. No, thanks, John. Didn't really want to bring it up. Okay.
I've
Do a
got
lot
a
for
tattoo of
charity.
it.
Talk
I've got a
about
tattoo. Let's see it. I need to take my hat off. It's doing my nothing. Right.
It's
I'm not gonna-
roast. I'm sweating.
I can't take my Santa beard off. It's attached
Oh.
permanently.
Yours is legit.
I use this legit. Mine's getting there, in fairness.
You
Not
can
good.
kind of get that whole Lemmy from Motorhead look going on in there.
It's not. It seems to reflect with the lighting. I'm not really.
It looks like a horseshoe.
I look like a what?
It looks like a horseshoe moustache.
Oh, sorry. I
Lemmy
think.
had. No. Jeez.
Yeah. No. I'll turn white at some point. I'll just fall out. But no, that was we were real chuffed to win the awards, and it was cool. It was cool. What have you been up to, John? Anything exciting?
Me, nothing much at all, apart from like wrecking fences and working away and trying to get things organised for family and that leading up to Christmas. It's pretty much been quite quiet on the home front. I finally might have sourced in somewhere that sells Jabba the Hutt-sized geese, so that's my thumbs up.
Yourself, John. John, if
Yeah.
you're roughing yourself, then why the hell are we here?
I know. I feel useless.
You can't be doing that. I've got one job, dude, and that's to be a
Uh-huh.
bit. You can't take it away from me.
Okay. Well, you can tell me about my Jabba the Hutt-sized geese.
No, that's okay.
That's good. So we'll see you training after New Year.
Hopefully.
Liam's course on the 9th.
Aye.
You
I'll
You just
come-
want
I'll
to
come
be
with-
the ref. You just want to be the referee.
Yeah, we can go to Liam's New Year course on the 9th, and then we can do a special
Special from the dojo.
from the dojo on the 9th.
It'd be
Perfect.
nice to you can actually do that. We can actually do a wee special from the dojo at some point.
That sounds like a good
If you
idea.
want, just put a table out and stuff. If
Yeah,
you want to see the dojo, you might not
Yeah,
want
now we
to.
can actually officially meet up and stuff and do it properly.
I mean, actually, because we're actually not that far apart.
used to.
I mean-
I'm quite a bad drive.
Yeah, 25 minutes. Pull yourself together.
Shouldn't take 25 minutes. All right, so we should move on to kind of the topic that we've got today.
Yeah, everybody's falling asleep now. Let's carry on.
Yeah, I know. So the topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is the idea of kind of legitimacy of kind of gradings and belts as such. Now, it's a very kind of controversial topic, if you must, but I think it's a interesting topic. I think we can get kind of good opinions on it. And again, those at home that are listening or watching, please comment on our stuff. Let us know what you feel, or send us private messages if you don't want to be known, and let us know what you think. But today, I was looking to see your opinions, gentlemen, on what is legitimacy. That's the coffee kitten. Legitimacy. Various things. Well, does it have to be a Japanese instructor grading? Does it have to be a Japanese association? There's a few more things we can kind of touch on as we go through as well. I'll kind of touch point, but we'll start off with Liam. Looks like you're in overthink mode, so we'll start off with John. Let's start with John. John, what is legitimate? What is a legitimate belt status grading association, whatever how you want to put it?
I'm kind of torn on this one because obviously we all want things to be as legitimate and kosher as possible. The one thing that I do think is that your history has to be verifiable. No, that's the first thing about legitimacy. You know, it's something that pops up that you've never heard of before. No, who's got no verifiable, no like. No.
Excuse me.
You okay there, bud?
Yeah, just sorry.
Something that just pops up that's got no verifiable links to anything in the circle. Nothing can be. You okay, mate?
Sean's dead. Man down. Man down. Man down.
First
Get
aid,
your mouth
first
to
aid.
mouth, mate, but you're miles away. He's turning red. It's not good.
Right, I'm okay.
But I think legitimacy is just really down to having a verifiable history. They can be looked back on. I mean, I don't think it has to have any genuine, direct links to Japan these days, because, I mean, let's be honest, karate only appeared in Japan 30 years before it appeared in Britain. So, the whole deification of Japanese karate, I think was a wee bit overboard, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great Occidental, Western instructors in the UK that I think are would just make people as legitimate as having the links to Japan, and I'll be honest here, or even Okinawa, to be perfectly frank, these days. If somebody's got 50 years training, studying, whether it's in London or whether it's in Tokyo or whether it's in Naha, 50 years training is 50 years training. And I can see Liam's head about to explode.
No. I thank you for your opinion. John, as I said, I would like to hear everyone's opinion.
I completely concede that it depends what we're looking at. Are you looking at legitimacy of organisations? Are you looking at legitimacy of instructors? Because they're not the same thing.
Let's start kind of regarding belts and gradings as a subject there, and then we'll kind of touch into associations and from there. But I kind of like the fact that John was talking about history. So, kind of, what's your thoughts on?
I think what makes it legitimate? What makes a grade legitimate? For me, regardless where your club or association is based, if everybody passes every grading all the time, you're a cowboy outfit. You should get rid of your gi and put on a 10-gallon hat and a pair of chaps. All right, my personal opinion, because that's not a club. All right, if you're we agreed yesterday, our association, and 47 graded and 15 passed, and that is exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
Exactly the way it should be. It's not a cash grab. It's done. It's set up in such a way that you pass how you feel, and that's the way it should be. If you don't meet the standard, it's not our job to drop the standard. It's your job to meet it, because that's what a black belt was meant to be.
Yeah.
But there are so many clubs and groups that don't do that, that do not do that, and that regardless whether it's Japanese based or wherever the hell it's from. There's so many groups out there. If you are producing good quality of students and a good standard, then I don't give a damn if you get Japanese legitimacy or not. I personally like training the Japanese. I like Japanese karate, and it is different from European karate, and it is different from Okinawan karate. I enjoy it. I enjoy going to Japan. I enjoy the culture side of it. I also enjoy the way they train and how they train, and that's a personal taste. If you don't like that, it doesn't make you any less of a karateka. I genuinely don't think it does. I'm not an elitist in that way. I do think there's a lot of people that trade off the name of long dead Japanese instructors. That they throw these names about like anybody in this day and age knows who the hell you're talking about. And I've got an issue with that. But
yeah. I've got an issue with that as well, because my instructors, my direct instructors. So if I look at my main instructors over the years, they were all British. No, two were Scottish and one was English. They trained under Japanese and Okinawan instructors, but my instructors were British, and I had trained with them for like 20, 30 years. So, but when people start pulling up names like, oh, we've got a lineage that goes back to Mabuni, or a lineage that goes back to Maboto or something like that, most people these days are going to switch off from that, and it doesn't interest me when people say that the lineage goes all the way back to like 1742 or whatever. If your karate doesn't work now, no, it's not. No, it doesn't matter what happened in 1742. If your karate doesn't work in December 2021, it's not karate.
Karate in 1742 wouldn't work now. You know, that's a load of that's the I agree with where you're coming from. It depends. We had a conversation, you two had a piss take on Facebook, regarding is karate practical? Is it real karate? And I kind of stayed the hell out of it for a change, and I kind of believe that there's karate for all seasons and karate for all people.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Although I am a die-hard Shotokan stylist, and I can tell you my lineage. I can tell you exactly who I've graded in front of. I've got all my certificates are in the cupboard. In fact, that's a lie. They're all downstairs in a box.
Yeah, I put it on
Move
top of your
house.
couch, by the way. I put it on top of your couch.
Yeah, it's like all my certificates, all my license books, or all my stamped license books are in the wee drawer on that coffee table you love so much, Sean. Yeah, we'd have done. It was pretty heavy. I don't know what I was thinking. So, but does that mean because I've got that, I'm better than somebody that hasn't got it? No, I don't think it does. I genuinely don't think it does. I just think there's a lot. I personally, karate to me, how do I put this? I think a lot of people use the term karate as an easy wrapper for what they teach. They don't actually
Mhm.
teach karate, and that's the only argument I has is if everybody has the right to teach whatever they want to teach. What makes it right is the quality of your students. Passing and failing, as we discussed, is it set up professionally, whether you're a professional instructor or not. What winds me up is these kind of get rich quick clubs that pop up with these franchises. Yeah, the pyramid schemes exactly, and they drive me cuckoo. For one thing, I work really hard, and then not getting rich doing this. And I try to do it the right way. The way I think is right. Again, somebody outside might think it's different. They're entitled to their opinion. But yeah, I get frustrated with the ones who package what they teach as karate when it's not. Because because it's an easy wrapper and easy marketing for them. And then for that, I think that dilutes what the rest of us do. And that takes away our legitimacy.
Yeah,
Did that make
yeah,
any sense?
absolutely.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, that's that. A few points in what I kind of liked about you touching on there, guys. Is both of these never claim to have the right answer. It's not like one way is legitimate and everything else is wrong.
Not at all.
No.
So
I mean, it's the same as the teaching of karate. I mean, I do a lot of when I was still teaching, and if I get back to that again, I mean, a lot of my teaching is based around like a lot of like close in work, Kensetsuwaza and Nagawaza, which to you, Sean, means like locking techniques and throwing techniques, and things like that.
Just signing for sure.
But that's not the way that like you guys would teach coming from like your direct Japanese like Shotokan lineage.
But
Both of us are still karate.
yeah, but I would disagree with that. I think again, Sean and I in the same association. We've come up. I've been training long before Sean was, in fairness. But the kind of groups we've come shut up. The groups we've come through have two sides
yeah,
to the coin. It's not just us. Although some people hate, I've got the Budo guys who deride sport and hate sport karate, and I've got the sport karate guys who look at Budo guys and go, "You guys are having a laugh at stuff, wouldn't you, Mark?"
yeah,
I think there's a middle ground.
yeah. I think you're right. I think if you know how to do karate properly and if you know your katas and stuff, then there's a lot of application and locks and throws and grabs in your katas. And I think
Oh.
if you teach properly or understand properly, then you will know how
I
to
mean,
do that stuff.
sorry for interrupting. The problem is, I mean, there are some clubs out there which trade on the name of legitimate styles, like Shotokan, Shitorio, Goju. They trade on the name of legitimate styles, but they're not actually teaching actual their karate is very ABC. So a punch's a punch, a kick's a kick, a block's a block, and that's the way they teach karate. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's just it seems to be the type of clubs that Liam was talking about. The ones that the pyramid. That's the way that they tend to teach. There's nothing below the surface. It's everything as it appears. If that makes sense.
I think I've used the term before, the Easter egg.
Yeah.
But to those uninitiated, like I know what the hell I'm talking about, but to the uninitiated, for like somebody just want to take their kid to a karate class because they like Cobra Kai, they're going to go to the local club and they're going to believe whatever's been spouted by the instructor. And I could be one of those instructors that spouts, but I actually don't, to be honest. But and they don't know any better. The problem is we've just touched on this before, is educating the public in what it is we do, and riding these. I didn't think I put that differently. Riding these guys out of town, these cowboys, and calling them out, but we're too polite sometimes. We're too nicey and don't want to offend, because that's the karate way. Unless you're being ginger like me and you don't give a monkeys. But there's, I get called in it's a few years ago now. Like I was called in by a local active schools coordinator who shall remain nameless, who called me anyway and basically phoned me and said, "Liam, I need your advice." And I went, cool. Somebody thinks I know what I'm talking about. And I went in for a meeting, a free cup of tea. I'll go anywhere for a cup of tea. And he went, have you heard of these people? And I looked at this flyer, and I have never. Now we would know because we're trained and we're in the life. And it was the biggest load of crap I've ever read in my life. Just absolute nonsense. It was all made up baloney. It was just, there was no, again, affiliation. You and I have famously had a tete-a-tete on Kareem's podcast about NGBs and stuff, but John, but the wound me up wasn't if it wasn't with an NGB. It was just obviously a franchise pyramid scheme cowboy. It was just everything on it was the stuff that makes a kind of legit. I'm using air bunnies here. Martial artist throw up in their mouth. It's just absolute nonsense.
I think the thing is, we know if you've spent more than a few years doing what we do, you know what's legit. It's a small pond that we're in, especially in Scotland. So when people start popping up and start spouting like nonsense and passing nonsense off, it's going to come back. It's going to come back and bite them. And I found this out particularly when I was writing for Martial Arts Illustrated, how small a pond this is. I mean, it is Kevin Bacon 6 degrees, especially in Scotland.
Yeah,
I don't understand how these people think they can get away with that.
I just think, you guys are obviously a wee bit older than me. But no, I'm joking. I think you just said there, John, you kind of know what's legit and not legit and what's not. But you guys have got friends in all kind of other martial arts as well. It's not like karate is the only way, but you've got good friends in taekwondo and good friends in like judo and Liam, you're doing aido, and it's just that there's not just one martial art that's the reason you're making it legitimate. So there's all these other people are doing the right things and ticking the right boxes to kind of try and make it as legitimate and as professional as possible.
Well, as I said to the active schools coordinator, I have no right to corner the market what I do.
Yeah.
And I apologise for using the word market, people, but I have no right to corner the martial arts market in my area. I've no right. Anybody who's legit and is qualified and is set up correctly and has done it properly has the right to go and do whatever they want to do within the area. I can't stop them. Yeah. It's my job to kick the ass of everyone who comes into my area if I want to keep my club busy. Yeah. And I absolutely will. But it's not my job to stop you going a half. But I get annoyed at the charlatans and the cowboys coming in with no background, no lineage. My biggest pet hate, and I know Sean you will talk about it, my pet hate is people who get gradings without sitting gradings. And do you know why? Because I keep getting punched in the face at my gradings, and these people just turn up at dinner and get handed a certificate. It's not fair. Yes. It's not fair.
Yeah, I was just coming on to that, to be fair.
Not fair.
Yeah, it's not.
So can I just touching on that there, Liam? What's the thoughts on? Let's go. There's two parts of this I would like to touch on, to be fair. What's your thoughts, guys, on associations just giving instructors grades to either beef up the association or just give them a grading so the people underneath them can move up another level? Kind of thoughts on that, and then I'll come back to the other point regarding that subject. We'll go back to John.
I've actually been on the end of this. There was a group that wanted me to be a member of them back when I was still teaching up to 8 years ago. There was a group that wanted me to become a member of them. We were discussing them earlier on, Liam. And it was somebody that had a run-in Yonkie years ago.
Yonkie Scottish is Scottish for 10 years ago. Just in case Stephen Chan or anybody's listening.
Yeah, sure. So many years ago, I had a run-in with this particular head of association about a tournament, and it must have completely forgot about it, because when I was still teaching, I still had the class I was living in Kilmarnock, but I still had the class up in Castlemilk, and he approached me and says, if you come into group X, I'll give you a 5th Dan. Now, I'd only passed my 4th Dan about 6-7 months beforehand, and this guy was wanting to give me a 5th Dan for coming to join his association. I didn't have a big club. What I did have, though, was the fact I was writing for Martial Arts Illustrated.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I had something similar a few years back as well from an association that should remain nameless.
Go on.
No, you know we
I'm getting sued.
can't.
I'm not getting sued.
As long as you
I'm
pay
not
the
getting-
legal bill, big man.
Give me the first letter, please.
And like at that point, we were training with Yahara Sensei, right? You know, and who's still real. I'm not with the group. He's still a big hero of mine. And they were basically offering. We sent a check. So time set. I didn't grade for a long time, right? I don't even know why I didn't grade. I should have graded. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I wasn't really bothered. So I didn't grade for a long time. So they kind of figured out when you started training and where you were now, and kind of added the years together and said roughly what grade you should have been had you graded throughout that time. And if you sent them a check, of course there's a check involved, they will send you a certificate. Now, I'm with a recognised group in Japan. This is a non-recognised grade. There's no way I'm going to. Could you imagine? Sean knows Yohara Sensei, and people out there maybe know who Yohara Sensei is. Could you imagine me taking that grade? I'm actually saying it out loud. I feel sick. And then going up to the front row and pushing six stands and stuff out the row because I had this. Almost said their name. Their grade out to the front. I'd be.
What Dan is it they offered you?
They offered me a fifth at the time, but I was only third at the time. So they offered me a fifth. So it wasn't just a one up, it was two up. Somebody else I know was offered a sixth. So I was like, there's no way. I just couldn't. You can't. Because what it says on the certificate, certainly ones I get from Japan, I get them. It says it doesn't say you've passed the grading, it says you have the right to stand next to those, if you actually read the Japanese.
Yeah.
You have the right to stand next to those of that grade, is what it actually says.
Wait a minute, Liam, I actually seen that certificate in your box when I was helping you move.
I've got a few. Did you? There's plenty of certificates in there. I've got more certificates in there. And books, and I've not as many licensed books as you, Sean. You've been in every Shokan association. Put 4 letters, put a K in it, and Sean's been a member of it.
Hands up, it's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It was not your fault. You just did what the rest of us does. Just just follow on.
You just followed on, yeah.
Aye, but I was gobsmacked that was even a thing. So you could take that. Now you would know. I would know.
Yeah.
Right. I know in my heart. Right. But my students coming in wouldn't have any difference.
No, nobody would know.
Nobody would know, but you would know because you'd be like, you're a donkey, and then
I thought that when I seen it in the box.
I mean, you and I have had this discussion before, Liam. I mean, because of my illness and injury, I don't say this out of false modesty and false ego or anything, but yes, I did the grades. Yes, there were no decent instructors, but I feel talking to you guys, I sometimes, although I've got 40 odd years in and dealing with this one way or another, I feel like I'm a bit of a fraud. No lump myself into the same sort of category as like you guys.
I've been cowboying for years, mate. Pull yourself together.
No, I think
that one needs a mask off for you.
To be fair, John, kind of knowledge-wise, you probably got more knowledge and kind of more Japanese terms than I do, so that's fine.
Sean spent a lot of time in Wagamama.
Do you know, my karate from the waist up is actually quite good. It's only for the waist down. It's totally.
Whoa. Too far.
It's not that kind of podcast.
Too far. Wrong podcasted.
I'm not like to talk about my shit.
Nope. No, another one that winds me up is that it's Sean kind of touched on it as well. It's like I know one, and I can't say it's killing me. I love to name and shame these people. No, don't. This is why I asked you not for this one tonight, because I've had a bad week and I've been drinking. No, because I'll just be excommunicated from the governing body. And but people who just went, I know of an instructor who basically sat all his instructors at the table and went, well, you guys can't get promoted till I get promoted, so you need to vote me to get promoted. So when I get promoted, you can then pay for you to get promoted, and then we can all move up one. And you're like, really?
Just a first name, please.
No.
I don't get it.
No.
I really, as I said, we spoke about this before. I really don't get it. I mean, I could quite happily sit and watch
Because
Anthony
the
Day
clubs are
die.
cults.
Yeah.
The clubs are cults. They're not clubs. They're cults. That's not how you run it's not how you run a club or an association. It's not a cult.
And see, in my opinion, to be honest, I think it's they don't believe what they're doing. You know, when you do karate, I mean, we didn't even want to talk about the awards that we won. We wanted to be humble. I didn't even want to share it on
I don't have
Facebook.
get tattoos of it.
Do you know what I mean? So I think you need to be like kind of humble, respectful, and kind of believe in what you're doing. And if these guys don't believe in what they do, then they don't care. Do you know what I mean? They can happily just take another grade, and who cares? Who cares what they think? Whereas me, if I took that, I would know. You said that, Liam, you would know. Like you can. How can you post that and say you're a fifth dan but not a fifth dan, or whatever, sixth dan and not a sixth dan when you legitimately only done a third dan?
I had a conversation with somebody quite high up in Scottish karate a few weeks ago, and one of the things that were said was that if you're doing it for ego, these things happen. If you're doing things, I mean, what the question was great. What are you doing to put back into karate?
Yeah.
You're taking a lot from it, but it's given me a hell of a lot. It's given me a hell of a lot in my life. I can't deny that. It's been a massive. I know in you guys as well. It's been a massive guiding light in my life. Whether the fact I do it and I can eat occasionally, but before I could eat, there was a long time I couldn't. But I still was into karate. But there's all the ones that take and take and take, but they're not interested in putting back in to karate and actually uh, helping build it for the next generation. And those are in my opinion, the ones that do things like that are only interested in their own egos and what they can say at the pub.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, one of the things that I've been because I'm not able to train as much as I once was able to, or to the same sort of standard. One of the things that I'm very keen in doing is using my voice to, help and promote my friends effectively. Because, like you said, karate's given me an awful lot. I mean, indirectly, karate's responsible for me being married to who I think is the most wonderful woman in the world.
She is,
if it
because she
wasn't,
married you.
I know.
The woman's a saint.
But I mean, indirectly, I mean, karate has given me all of this, and if I can give something back, and that's why I'm not shy about if you guys do something good, or if Jamie Gray does something good, or Scott McMillan does something good. No, I'm quite happily shout their praises for the rooftops, because that's my way of giving back.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. There's so many that take from the sport, and I'm using the word sport. Those that take from it and give nothing back. They're not interested in paying forwards. They're not interested in making it better for the next people. What are you putting back? What are you doing for the next generation? You've taken a lot from it. I know instructors that have taken a lot from it financially, right? Nothing wrong making a living. I'm trying. Not as rich as Sean is, but some of us are trying our best.
Sharp.
Minted boys and girls, honestly. He kids on, like, he's like Rockefeller, right? He's got like 1 million students. I'm kidding on. But, they take a lot, but they're not, what they putting back in? What's left next? It's not just, if it's only about taking the cash out of the situation, or running it as an ego thing, as I say, going down to the pub and saying, I am a sensei and all that. Then you should piss off, right? In my opinion, you should beat up. You should go. And I find a lot, and this is where I really get it. I find a lot of amateur instructors deride professional instructors because they somehow think they're better than the pros because they don't take a wage out it. Right? It is.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
That's a false ego thing as well.
That
I mean,
pisses me off, and there's nobody that puts more into the next generation and the next, and into their students than somebody who's able to actually do it as their profession, as their job. I don't do this because it makes me rich, because it doesn't. I do it because I love it.
Yeah.
And I put as much, I try and do as much as I can for my members and my students as I possibly can. And I try and associate with people who, apart from Sean, obviously, I try to associate with people who are like-minded and think the same way. And I try and stay away from the egomaniacs who are in it for themselves and not for who they're teaching.
Yeah, just kind of sorry, on you go, John.
No, I was just going to say, and you can see it as well in a lot of people's, going back to the whole thing about legitimacy, engravings and that. When you see people that are taken out, they're alleged like fifth, sixth dans and whatnot, and I don't know, everybody's into kata, I get that, but it is a big part of what we do. And if you're still grading at third dan, nothing higher than Basai Dai, then there's a problem. So,
Sean thinks you swore at him. Basai Dai's a kata and Shotokan, Sean.
And I think this is a wee bit of an in-joke with Liam and I. No, we know who we're talking, what, but it winds me up the fact that there are these people out there, and it's like there's still certain people that are above the generation above Liam and I. If you can imagine other people that old in the world, the generation.
Don't give them ammunition. Don't give them ammunition.
Yeah.
God, I'm 3 years older than you, Liam. So, but there's people from that generation above us just now that are sitting with sixth and seventh dans. That you're absolutely right. No, they're teaching, they're taking the money away, but they're not actually giving anything back. No, they might well say, well, I'm giving them people the skills. No, I'm giving them the knowledge. But it has to be just more than teaching somebody how to do a yakuzuki. It has to be more than just teaching somebody how to do hayagoshi or something like that. You have to be given back, and more than just like teaching people techniques and things like that. I might have just been rumbling my belly there, but
no, you're right, and I think what I try and do as well, and I know Liam does it as well. You try and create a kind of community, a kind of family, and as you say, kind of giving back more than just techniques. And
Sean and I was saying the other day there, we in the last 2 years have been we've been social workers as much as karate instructors.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years. We've been social workers as much, and I am not a qualified social worker. But that's what we have been, because the last 2 years been rough.
Yeah.
And people they look to us as in positions of authority. Is that the word?
Role models.
God, look at us, right? But yes, okay, as role models to their kids and to their families, and I try to be. I do genuinely try to do things the right way and be a reasonable human being as best I can. My daughter would disagree, but she's a teenager. But it's been rough. It's difficult going, and that's all been. But rather than going, I'm sorry, that's not my job, we just jump in because we're able to do it. We're able to invest that kind of time in.
Yeah.
But as I say, that was I don't know where that came from. It was a deep-rooted anger that came up. No, I get sick of hearing it. I get fed up. It's not to say that amateur instructors, when I say amateur, I don't mean they're amateur. I mean that they don't do it for a living. They volunteer. And these instructors are great. It's not to say that they're somehow less good than us. Or I don't mean that. There's plenty of brilliant instructors who teach 2 nights a week in a church hall and produce brilliant students.
Yeah.
There's thousands of them, but there's a percentage that just.
I've actually heard somebody's actually said that to me, as if that I'm a less of a person because I'm taking money. They've actually.
I wonder if it's the same person, Sean.
I wonder. But I just kind of think back. Like,
but you're a professional. Yes, I am.
I wouldn't say professional, right. But I do this full time. Yeah.
I go to Japan. I'm very privileged to be in a position in my life now that I can go to Japan maybe once a year, twice a year, and I wasn't always.
Yeah.
I was in a position to do that. Do you think I'd do that just because I like noodles? Do you think I'd do that and I spend that money and that time away from my missus and my family because I like a bottle of Asahi? No, I go over there to learn and be a better instructor. I go over there and I spend my own personal treasure to go over there and visit Kyoto. No, to go to the dojo and get kicked in the face.
Yeah.
And learn from people better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a personal instructor. You go to Ibiza 3 times a year. You go do this, that, and the other. I spend my money, my earnings on that.
Yeah, I just think when I was kind of taken back when that person said it to me, because a lot kind of years and years of working.
Type my name in below, Sean.
No, Years
No, they
and
wouldn't
years.
see it. They wouldn't see it. We're gonna bitch you behind somebody's back. All right.
No, it's been
You need
years.
to type it in, Sean. Son, you need to type it.
Send it Messenger.
Send it in Messenger. Nobody will see it. I'll tell everybody afterwards.
Yeah, no, kind of years working in restaurants doing breakfast
Oh,
shifts.
I'll say who I think it is.
No, I'm trying to speak. Don't be rude. Anyway, he's
Daddy
gonna.
Sean.
No, I know he's gonna say. I don't know who that is.
All right, in that case, it wasn't. In that case, there's two of them.
You're joking?
You give me a second name.
Oh, yeah, I know, but no.
Give me a second name. Anyway, guys. So moving on from that, kind of touching on that second part of dodgy certificates. What's your thoughts on ceremonial gradings? And I mean, there's different parts of that. I've seen higher level Japanese associations give their me. All right, aye, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the same person.
Can I'd like to start this one off. My wife works in academia. She works in university. She's a clever girl.
She can't be that clever. She's with you.
She's doing her bit for charity, mate. Leave her alone.
Yeah. She's 22 years of charity work there.
God almighty. Surely she's due
a medal for the.
Actually, it's closer to 20. It's closer, if you add out all the years up together, it's closer to 25, 26. But when people get awards at universities, it's usually linked to something in their own field. So, like the actor Martin Compston, he got an honorary degree in English because he's an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Annie Lennox got an honorary doctorate in music because she's a musician. Now, when folk like Donald Trump start getting ninth dans in Taekwondo, based purely on the fact that he stepped over an illegal border between the two careers, you've got to think to yourself, I'm not a fan. I don't care whether it's to promote the art, promote a particular organisation, or promote a particular sporting version of the arts. I've been punched in the head too often. I have suffered from migraines. I suffer badly from migraines because of the amount of kicks and punches I've had to the heads over the years.
I just figured out why I get migraines. Maybe that's why.
I'm going before he sues me.
Yeah. I was chatting with Kareem about this, and he says, "No, don't let it bother you." But the fact is, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into getting where I am just now. And when people start getting like 8th dans and 9th dans, and that these people think that they're the dog's dangly bits because they're getting these 8th and 9th dans, that they're going to be somehow legit. It just wings my goat up. It just wings me right up. It gets right in my goat, rips my knitting.
Can I say, so there is, like, as I said, I've seen heads of associations get given ceremonial gradings, but in terms of, did Elvis not get given a grading as well? Is that true?
Oh, he was given a 10th dan in Kempo or some nonsense like that for Ed Parker, who was only an 8th dan at the time, so it's...
Liam, what's your thoughts on this, Liam?
What's my take on it? It depends.
On if it's you or not?
Right, so... right, there's people... If you are... See if you're a 9th... See if you're like... you've been training all your life... You're 67, 70 years old and you've put back in.
Oh, that's different.
And you physically can't do a grading. Then I see no problems with you being awarded an honorary 8th or 9th dan. On the prefix, that the big term there is honorary. Yeah. All right? That's different from an actual 8th or 9th dan. Does that make sense? So yeah. I have no issues with that. If you have... like a lifetime achievement award, you've put your life and soul into it, but you can't physically grade it anymore. Then I don't have an issue with it. What I do have an issue with is if you're physically able to grade. Yeah, if you're physically able to stand in front of a committee and grade and do a grading syllabus, and you don't, you'd rather just get it through the post.
I think that's a wee bit different. I mean, let's say you've got some old Okinawan instructor sitting somewhere in Naha that's been teaching Goju-Ryu for 70 years, and his organisation award him an 8th or a 9th dan or whatever. I've got no problem with that because 70 years work's a load of work's a good load of work. Where my problem comes in is, and it's not even with like instructor X in Glasgow who's an 8th dan in Shukokai that's done no training with MD in Okinawa or Japan for like donkey's years, but he suddenly gets bumped up to like 9th or 10th dan. I've got a problem with that. But the problem that I've really got, which was I thought was what Sean was talking about, is when people that have got no links to martial arts whatsoever get given honorary grades, and there's no reason for it. There's no reason for anybody who's not a martial artist to hold any sort of honorary grade. It's not like we're an academic establishment. And it's not as if the people that have got any, like I was saying, Martin Compton might get his honorary doctorate in English because he's an actor. Annie Lennox might be worthy of an honorary doctorate in music because she's a musician.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, for example, has got no right holding on to an honorary 9th dan in Taekwondo.
Is that the most ridiculous one you've heard of? Is there more ridiculous than a 9th dan in Taekwondo to Donald Trump?
Sean McCarran, 4th dan.
I asked that. I actually teed that one up for you, Dave.
That was like a...
That wasn't honorary. I was actually...
That's a Michael Vaughan 6 shot.
That was a...
And in my 3rd dan, I actually beat my wee brother up and down the joint for my 3rd dan. So, yes.
You could have done that at home, mate.
I could have, but...
I would say that the Donald Trump one is probably one of the most ridiculous ones I've heard. It's not the only one. I mean, there was like one of the former presidents at Ireland was given an 8th dan in ITF Taekwondo at one point. You know, I just don't get it, because it's not as if that person's going to be doing anything to promote the style once they've got the certificate.
I think at that level, that kind of thing goes on. You know, it's just nobody takes that seriously. The Trump's going to suddenly start popping, spinning hook kicks. Although I'd pay good money to watch it, but that's purely that's just marketing.
Yeah,
that's just shameless marketing, and there's a lot of people will buy into that. But I don't think he takes that seriously, because it's not like he's going to suddenly open a chain of martial arts studios up and down Florida next week. You know what I mean? So it's I get that. My issue is fellow instructors who are running clubs who like Jump. Oh, I almost said the name there. Who are grading for high grades well within their time.
Oh yes.
Yes, like going for 6th dan in 4 years and stuff instead of waiting to 6.
It was less than that.
And I don't get that. I don't know why. It
goes back to the ego thing again.
I don't get it. It's not. It goes beyond that though. It's about window dressing.
This was more because it was in my point of view, it was from a legitimate organisation.
Yes, that disappointed.
That's why I think it was more. It wasn't just a single cowboy club; it was a legitimate association.
I mean, it's happens a lot. I mean, there was a famous kickboxer and MMA athlete who was a legit 5th dan in Kyokushin karate, and then when he retired from the K1 kickboxing circuit, he was actually legit promoted to 9th dan, not honorary. He was legit promoted to 9th dan in Kyokushin karate because of what he did in K1 in the UFC.
But then again, so here's the argument.
Punched in the face.
So here's the thing. What is a dan grade? Right. So the question is, there different associations. Does that mean different associations have different standards and ideas of what a dan grading actually is?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, you think there's various different groups, various different Shotokan groups. I mean, I spent enough time training with you Liam, and like your instructors when you were younger. I know how hard you guys train and how hard like you guys can hit. Same with Kyokushin. Kyokushin's a tough style. It's brutal. It's hard. It's brutal. There are a lot of clubs out there that aren't. We've touched on them earlier on, but there's just this thing that with dan grades. When I was teaching, I always felt that I wanted my blue belts to be as good as other clubs' brown belts or black belts. That was just like that. That was just me, focusing on something. But the whole idea of like Q grades, dan grades, and that, I suppose all that is, it's just an indicator to where you are within a particular hierarchy within a particular organisation. I mean, a 1st dan in Club X might be as good as a green belt in Club Y, who might be as good as a 3rd dan in Club W, for example. Again, I might be better with my belly.
No, I think all good points, and I kind of, as I said, I like the subject.
You could
I
go on
think
all night about it. Like,
yeah, you
literally, I
could.
could literally sit here and moan all night.
No,
Like
you could.
somehow I know what I'm talking about. If he sees my karate, be like, really? What grade is he? But I just,
No, we don't claim to know the right answer, guys. It's your opinion at the end of the day and your experience.
I
And
think different. My problem is I'm seeing more and more black belts done for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
It's like somehow the person with the highest grades and the most black belts wins, and it's a load of crap, and it's going to eventually damage us
I would love
because
to know
it
this.
damages our credibility. Like, so we go back. So this is nice. We look back to Sean and I being lucky, not lucky enough. We worked damned hard, right? So, and we won these awards. All right. So it's we were up against it against legitimate sports or mainstream sports.
Yeah,
And it's taken a lot of time for us to get to that stage, and for karate in general to get to the stage where it's been accepted and seen um, as a legitimate sport without us being undermined from within. And I feel we're getting undermined from within. There needs to be a standardisation in regards to what a grading is and what a downgrading is for us to survive. If it's just going to be full of franchises, and yes, I'm saying I know not everybody who does a franchise is a cowboy. I totally get that before we start getting messages, but a lot of them are, and they're all these hyped up grades and utter nonsense. You're damaging us all in the long run.
yeah,
If you are business minded, okay, which a lot of people that run clubs aren't, then they don't see the damage they're doing to their own.
market.
I'm going to use the word horribly, right? Brand.
Mm-hmm.
If you constantly do this kind of crap, you're damaging what we do, and it doesn't happen over a day or a week or a year. Over 10 years, you're going to screw us all up.
I
For
think,
what?
yeah,
To tell your mate who doesn't give a monkeys that you've got an extra downgrade?
It's also the money as well, because I mean, it works both ways. You've got your instructors that are jumping grades, and then at the bottom end of the scale, you've got kids that have been given grades that, we touched on this earlier before we started recording. You're getting kids that are given grades that they just aren't. No, I would like to think that most legit clubs have a similar sort of standard. So if I was still teaching and somebody came to me and they said, yeah, that guy's no Shirin kata are good, that guy's no Goju kata are good, I'm quite happy with that. Same as if I come to your club, no, you know the Shotokan, no, the kumite is good, no, you've got good WKF kumite, John, you do good, no, like full contact and stuff. No, there's a standard you can see, but when you get kids that are coming from club franchise A, and they're coming to you with like a third Q or a first dan, and you get yellow belts and orange belts there that are more knowledgeable, more skillful, and have got more heart and focus, then that damages it as well. It winds me up no end when I'm looking, and again, I'm bringing myself into heart attack before I'm 60 here, but it winds me up no end when I'm looking at newspapers and I'm saying club, and it's a legit organisation. No, it's probably one of the most legit organisations that ever existed, although it's kind of waned in recent years. Talking about having a 6-year-old first dan.
Oh, I saw that one.
I wasn't allowed to train until I was 7 years old, and I wasn't allowed to grade first dan until I was 15, because only then was I allowed to grade first dan when I was 15, because it was 2 months short of my 16th birthday.
I mean, I came in a bit later than that. We couldn't set our show down until we were 16, so they were that was them moving the goalposts. Now, I mean, I've got some younger guys that have got the black belt, but they're good technically.
Uh-huh.
They're first dans. Do you know what I mean? They're first dan, they're junior first dans. They're not Shodan Ho. They're not like full on first dans, if you know what I mean. Adult first dans or junior Shodans. They're under 16. You don't get a senior Shodan. But they're good. These kids are technically good. They're better than the three of us. Do you know what I mean? But that's. I agree. It's when the technical standards not there. When black belts are given as retention tools.
Yeah.
Right. If I have to, and don't get me wrong, I've seen it happen in the past. If I have to give you a downgrading to keep you in my club, get in my club.
Right.
You're obviously done. Your karate career is obviously done. All right. If your instructor's having to bribe people to stay by giving them downgrades, then that person's karate career is finished.
Yeah.
you know, or they'll need to take a break, or they'll maybe take 10 years out, which
it's kind of
happens to
lost sight.
people. But they're
Yeah.
you know, but given people that are young, second dance, third dance, first dance. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, you just make us look like. See if that kid in particular, and it's not the child's fault. I
No,
mean, it's
no, no, no.
absolutely clear. It's not the child's fault. But I saw the
But it's not
stand.
the parents' fault either. It's not even the parents' fault. It's the club's fault. And as I said, this is a legitimate group. I mean, this is
But
like
I
one of
saw
the
the child.
oldest
See
groups
this.
in the
I
band.
was like, let's see the child standard, because that's what I was like. Okay, so if you measure it based on standard, right? So, what was he, one when he started? But anyway, and I looked at it. The standard's not there. The standard isn't there to back it up. I mean, but it's the standard isn't there to back up the grade. If the standard's
Yeah.
there to back up the grade, and you have an argument, you say, listen, I know, but this kid's amazing, and he's, you know, you can't have him training next to green belts of the same age because he's just smashing these kids up. He's so good, and then like you go, right, I don't agree with it, but I see where you're coming from. You can, but when the standard isn't there, when like most clubs kind of 8 Qs, 7 Qs, 6 Qs are better than that first stand at 6 years old. Then it's a
Yeah.
marketing ploy, and it's all about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that, as I said, and I know I've went back to this a couple of times over the break here, the thing that got me was this is one of the oldest and was one of the at one time was one of the most respected karate organisations in the UK, with legit links to some serious Japanese instructors in the past.
Well, this is my bit, right? So I'll go back, right? And the reason I'm with a Japanese group, and the reason I'm big enough, and that sounds really egotistical, right? And I don't mean it to be egotistical. Not me personally, I'm big enough before you start your crap shot. Because I'm like a midget. I'm working for Santa on Christmas Eve. There's my club is big enough to go independent. Right? I'm a reasonable high grade. I'm not a high grade, but I'm a reasonably high grade. I could go independent and go it. But who's holding me to account? Where's my oversight? Who's keeping me honest?
Yeah.
Who keeps me to a standard?
No, don't worry, I will.
You bend your knee and hand in your hip, big man, then you talk to me, all right? but you know, so I could, and financially it would make more sense. Listen,
Yeah.
as a professional instructor, it would make much more sense financially for me to go, stuff this, I'll do it on my own, thank you very much. I'd make more money. My accountant would love me. Seriously.
No, I know.
But it makes, but then I'm breaking away from oversight, and the further you go away, it's like degrees. It's not the first year, it's not the second year, it's not the third year, it's the 7th year, it's the 8th year, it's the 10th year. And being part of the group, being part of bigger groups and world federations that have a good standard, whether Japanese or not, right? They hold you to a standard
Yeah.
and they keep you honest. But when you go independent and think you are the pinnacle of the tree, you're the top of the tree, like some wee guy in Scotland, wee ginger guy in Scotland's the top of the tree in karate, give us peace. Then you'll start to sacrifice. You slowly start to make decisions based on popularity or retention or financial, and then suddenly the integrity disappears.
Yeah, that's like I
It
kind of
doesn't
like that.
happen.
Yeah.
It's not one sin. It's 10 sins down the road, and you go, I'm not where I wanted to be. So that's why I like training the Japanese because they keep me honest, and I'm with a good group
Yeah.
that I connect with, and that's me. Other clubs will connect with different groups for different reasons. I'm just saying my group works
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
and I connect with that, and they keep me honest, and I do my exams, I do my tests, I do the stuff because I never think I feel like an imposter, so I constantly have to go and then do the extra training and sit those tests and all the rest of it to kind of improve me as an instructor and as a karate, and so that my students then benefit. Whereas if you think you're the top of the tree, and I know many instructors list, I'm sure you guys do too, they're the finished article. What I say is right. And that slowly degenerates. That slowly starts to implode upon itself.
And I think that's what's happened with this particular group. No, they're not at the place they were before. I don't think they've got the respect that they once had before for various different reasons. This just being one of them. But that, like you said, they're not being kept honest anymore. When their links to Japan ended, it's when things started going, well, there was other things as well, but
For me, when the Japanese links get severed back in the late 70s, early 80s, the decision was twofold. The issue was twofold, and I've spoken to people quite high up in those particular groups, right, who have told me, and they've not told me this in no so many words, but I'm a relatively well read and educated man, and I can I can add. Um, Often it was ego. They wanted to be the same grade as somebody else. Often the Japanese saw the Westerners as a cash cow and squeezed every penny they absolutely could out of us Westerners to make money. What also happened is, well, the Westerners went, screw you, I'm not giving you all this money, I can make that money. Instead of saying, I'll save my students that money and we'll do this, they went, I'll make that money for me. So what they did was, they suddenly severed these links, set up their own federations, and then the cycle started. The generative cycle started, where they start to sacrifice standards, and they start to sacrifice this, and they start to go there, and it's all about money, and it's all about that, and slowly it starts to implode and implode and implode. They're not organizations like that.
No. I mean, there's a lot of very, very good Western and British-based groups who are maybe 2 or 3 links removed from either Okinawa or Japan, and I will never denigrate them, because I know that their skill set is immense. I know that their knowledge is phenomenal, and we put a lot of Japanese and Okinawan instructors to shame. When I say shame, I do that in inverted commas. But at the same time, yeah, you're absolutely right. And it kind of looks back to the entire conversation. When it becomes about your own ego, when it becomes about your own excessive bank balance, because for a long time, I remember when I was playing it, being a professional instructor back in the late 80s and 90s, I was making a damn good change of money, and not a lot of it was going elsewhere other than into my bank account.
Tell me your secret, because all I do is pay bills.
I
get this cake. I get this cake at the end of the month, and then I've got to pay this, and I pay that, and I pay this, and I pay that, and I pay that, and I go, wait a minute, I've worked 26 days straight. What the hell?
You could do a bit less cake, to be honest.
But back in the 80s, there was a lot. There was a lot of good money going about, and not a lot of instructors were dealing with HMRC the way that they should have been at that point.
Well, let me tell you, I have to.
Yes, I know.
I get the rubber glove.
That's because you're legit. But there was a lot of people back in the 80s and 90s. There's a lot of people.
Well, that's another thing. There's a lot of instructors, amateur instructors, and yes, you out there listening. I'm just jealous. Are
they listening? Really?
Yeah, no, they've given up like 20 minutes ago, mate. A lot of amateur instructors out there, they put the cash in their pocket. I hate you because you thought of it and I didn't.
Yes.
What was I thinking?
Anyway, well, gentlemen, I think that was a interesting topic. I liked it. Those that are listening or watching, please comment, or as I said, if you want to remain anonymous, please I said that right. Please drop us in a message. And again, if you think of a topic or a guest or someone or some thing that we would like to talk about or talk to, then please let us know. Get involved.
I have one that's coming up in the next few weeks, gentlemen. I will announce it just now. The people in charge of the Fair Fight charity that Ali Neone talked about, I had a chat with Gina, who is in charge of that. She's based in Holland, and she is...
That's the one that Stephen Chan said he was chatting about, yeah?
Yeah, an incredible... What a driven, intelligent woman this is. This lady is just amazing, inspirational. We're going to get her and a certain Mary Stevens on, a certain author, Mary Stevens from Oxford. She doesn't know yet. She's listening to this. By the way, Mary, you're on. It wasn't me, it was them. They volunteered you to get you on for a wee chat about the Fair Fight charity. Yeah. This is a charity that karate people should be behind.
Yeah.
If you're a martial artist where you kick, punch, cuddle, roll about the floor and lycra, whatever the hell it is you do and call a martial art, you should be involved in a charity, this Fair Fight charity. What they do is amazing. And I was so upset talking to the women because they were fighting to get €10,000 together to help some of the most deprived areas in Zimbabwe, which are held together by this dojo. There's a shack of a dojo, and I'm using the term, and I'm probably using it incorrectly, township in Zimbabwe. It's the centre of this community. And all the women, the ladies train there, the guys train there as well. But these ladies go there and train, and they've been through the worst hardships and the most heartbreaking stories. I really upset me hearing some of the stories that these people have been put through. And this charity, Fair Fight, goes to bat for them. They keep the dojo running. They sponsor these people. They get them through education. They do so much for them, and it's all centered around karate. It's all centered around what we do day in, day out, and they travel out, and there's obviously they teach, but they also mentor these ladies that are out there, these young women who they give them hope, they give them support, and they were struggling over £8,000, €10,000 to keep this dojo open and going, and build a kind of kitchen in it as well, so they could basically make food to sell to feed themselves. It was heartbreaking to hear it. And we're going to get these ladies on the next few weeks to have a chat and a discussion, and I'd love anybody out there. This is not something I want ownership with. My club is getting involved with this. My club is getting involved with this because it really spoke to me, and spoke to me what we are supposed to be doing as karateka, as martial artists, as instructors, and that's giving back. And it doesn't have to be. I mean, obviously, we give back in our own local communities, but this is what they're going through out there is horrific. And they're getting their safety and solitude and their from karate training, for God's sake. They're not, and they're, as I say, they're in promise raising funds, and I don't know how we can look ourselves in the eye and not be supporting this charity. So these ladies are going to be on. I've bigged them up now. No pressure, girls. They're going to come on in the next few weeks. I'm going to have a chat with them, and some of it's going to be tough to listen to. Some of it's going to be tough, but there's inspirational stories in there as well. And we think we've got it tough through the pandemic and all the things that are going on. We've no clue. We're living pandered lives. So these ladies are going to be on the next few weeks. They volunteered their time to come on and chat to us, and we're going to push it big time. Hopefully through the podcast. And I'm certainly going to be pushing it through my club, and I want you guys out there, all your instructors out there, to be pushing it through your clubs, because surely between us we can support a charity like that.
Absolutely.
That's me. It's my rant.
No, I'm good. I'm excited. Excited is probably the wrong word, but I'm.
You don't have excited. Excited is not the word. I tell you what it is. It's inspiration.
If
it doesn't put a lump in your throat, you're not a human being.
Yeah, I look forward to speaking.
I mean, after Stephen Chan Sensei was talking about it the other week on the last chat that went down really quite well, it kind of, it touched, something that we take for granted, where there's a dojo in practically every street corner in every village, and throughout the UK, or every town in the UK, or city in the UK, you can't walk down the street without tripping over a dojo. When you're hearing about things that are happening in Zambia and Zimbabwe, India, where dojos are becoming like the centre of the community, it is something definitely worth looking at helping it as a bit more inspirational. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well, are we? Don't know if we'll meet you all before Christmas. We're going to meet up before Christmas. Turns up before Santa arrives.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, I'll have a Santa hat on again.
What's the 2 weeks? 19th, and then that'll be us before Christmas. Then we'll do one after New Year.
I can't on the 19th. I can't. Might be able to do the 19th. 19th should be okay. 19th should be okay. Should be all right.
Do it on the 19th.
Let me check. I'll need to check my diary, but yeah.
We'll try and do one before Christmas. If not, then
you'll be here, Sean. Sean will be here. I think
Sean will be here. Just talk himself. Sean will explain Goju Shiho to you all.
Goju Shiho show or Goju Shiho die?
Let's not start that conversation. Right, for those who managed to hold on to the end,
well done. That was a
Merry Christmas. You deserve every present you get on Christmas morning.
Just for listening to
God
you.
knows how you put up with that pish. We will speak to you in a couple of weeks, especially Sean. Sean was talking some nonsense there.
I barely spoke during that episode. I was listening to you two, all James listen.
Because we're experienced.
Rant. Experienced is another word
It's
for
a rough day, mate. It's a rough day. I apologise to the listeners out there if I seemed heated.
Good.
Well, we're going to finish up there, guys. As Sean said, thank you all so much for listening. Like, subscribe, share. If you didn't like it, do it anyway. A big thank you goes to Sean's pointing at something. Oh, it's the Facebook thing. Thank God for that. Big thank you to John.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Good. Thank you to Santa's wife. Sean has put Santa's wife as his name.
Let me please
Hey, Sean,
please explain.
we love you and we're here for you. No matter what, you're my bro and I love you and I'm proud of you. I think maybe you told your wife first, but we love you dearly.
And
right, thank you all so much. Take care. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. But finishing in 3, he's raging, 2 and 1.